We live in interesting times for the headlines. Fearing that his presidency was doomed, an angry Donald Trump pushed for Robert Mueller to be fired before he could deepen his probe into Russian election meddling, the special counsel's long-awaited report says. A woman is shot dead during riots in the city of Londonderry in Northern Ireland, and the killing is being treated as a terrorist incident, police say, following the latest upsurge in violence to shake the troubled region. A father rescued his son from a dingo's jaws after the infant was dragged from a camper van at an Australian tourist island in the third such attack this year. And Eagle Broadcasting Corporation has signed its first partnership deal with OSN, the Middle East and North African region's leading entertainment network. I'm Alma Angeles, wherever you're watching from around the world. Thank you very much for joining us, and now to the news. A triumphant President Donald Trump proclaimed game over for his critics following the long-awaited publication of the Mueller report, which cleared him of colluding with Russia. For the haters and radical left Democrats, game over, said the billionaire former showman in a message on Twitter that, not for the first time, imitated the iconography of acclaimed fantasy series Game of Thrones. After a 22-month probe on Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election, Special Counsel Robert Mueller's report says he found no criminal conspiracy between Trump's campaign and Russia, but could not reach a concrete legal conclusion on whether Trump tried to obstruct the investigation. According to the special counsel's report published on Thursday, Trump's lawyers and advisors repeatedly rebuffed attempts by the president to halt Mueller's investigation. The redacted report, which was released on Thursday, reveals the president tried to get Mr. Mueller fired, but Attorney General William Barr reiterated Thursday, as the report was released, that no obstruction charges are warranted.
At the same time, the president took no act that in fact deprived the special counsel of the documents and witnesses necessary to complete his investigation. In addition, earlier this week, the president's personal counsel requested and was given the opportunity to read a final version of the redacted report before it was publicly released. The special counsel did not find any conspiracy to violate U.S. law involving Russian-linked persons and any persons associated with the Trump campaign. So that's the bottom line. Special counsel's report did not find any evidence that members of the Trump campaign or anyone associated with the campaign conspired or coordinated with the Russian government in these hacking operations. In other words, there was no evidence of the Trump campaign collusion with the Russian government's hacking.
As the special counsel's report was being released, President Trump declared in the White House East Room that there's no collusion, no obstruction. Take a look.
And they're having a good day. I'm having a good day too. It was called No Collusion, No Obstruction. There never was, by the way, and there never will be. And we do have to get to the bottom of these things, I will say. And this should never happen. I say this in front of my friends, wounded warriors, and I just call them warriors because we just shook hands and they look great. They look so good and so beautiful. But I say it in front of my friends, this should never happen to another president again. This hoax. This should never happen to another president again.
Opposition Democrats protested that Barr held the news conference before the report was made public, saying it was an attempt to spin Mueller's findings into a favorable view of Trump's role.
Attorney General Barr appears to have shown an unsettling willingness to undermine his own department in order to protect President Trump. However, the Mueller report outlines disturbing evidence that President Trump engaged in obstruction of justice and other misconduct. And the responsibility now falls to Congress to hold the president accountable for his actions.
Now, Democrat congressional leaders Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, in a joint statement, said the report painted a disturbing picture of a president who has been weaving a web of deceit, lies, and improper behavior. Democrats have called on Mueller to testify before the House of Representatives by May 23. The Trump administration has announced it would not oppose that. Attorney General Bill Barr, who has come under heavy fire by Democrats for how he managed the publication of the report, will face Congress on May 2. Meanwhile, White House Counselor Kellyanne Conway says to reporters, the big lie that you've let fly for 2 years, it is over, folks, commenting on the release of the special counsel Robert Mueller's report. Take a look.
That should make people feel very good about democracy. It should make them feel really great that a campaign that I managed to its successful end did not collude with any Russians. We're accepting apologies today, too, for anybody who feels the grace in offering them. There was no collusion, and there certainly was no criminal conspiracy with any Russians. And I know you want to cherry pick one line here or one line there because the big lie that you've let fly for 2 years, it's over, folks.
Meanwhile, Russia on Friday once more dismissed the Mueller report, saying it failed to present clear evidence of any meddling by Moscow in the 2016 U.S. election and called its impact on relations regrettable. As a whole, the report, as before, does not present any reasonable proof at all that Russia allegedly meddled in the electoral process in the U.S. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov told journalists, saying it contained no new information. Russia has consistently rejected any suggestion that it interfered in the election won by President Trump. We regret, he said, that documents of such quality have a direct influence on the development of U.S.-Russian bilateral relations, which are not in the best shape as it is, Peskov said. He even suggested that U.S. taxpayers should question why their money was spent on the lengthy probe with such a result. To other news now, a woman has been shot dead during riots in the city of Londonderry in Northern Ireland. Take a look. A murder inquiry has been launched into the killing, which is being treated as a terrorist incident, police said Friday. The police formally identified the victim as Lyra McKee, a journalist.
This public order situation saw over 50 petrol bombs from the police, 2 cars hijacked and set on fire. And then, unfortunately, at 11 o'clock last night, a gunman appeared and fired a number of shots towards the police. And a young woman, Lyra McKee, 29 years old, was wounded. She was taken away from the scene of the police Land Rover to Altlegavin Hospital, but unfortunately she has died. Therefore, we have now launched a murder inquiry here in the city. We believe this to be a terrorist act. We believe it's been carried out by violent Republicans. Our assessment at this time would be that the new IRA are most likely to be the ones behind this, and that forms our primary line of inquiry. This is a horrendous act. It's unnecessary, it's uncalled for, it's totally unjustified. But not only is it the murder of a young woman, it's an attack again upon the people of this city.
Now, McKee had earlier posted an image that appeared to be from the riots in the Craigan housing estate in the city of Londonderry, also known as Derry, accompanied by the words, "Derry tonight, absolute madness." Images of the unrest posted on social media showed a car and van ablaze and hooded individuals throwing petrol bombs and fireworks at police vehicles. The violence came in the run-up to the Catholic Easter weekend, when Republicans opposed to the British presence in Northern Ireland marked the anniversary of a 1916 uprising against British rule. Michelle O'Neill, the deputy leader of Irish Republican Party Sinn Féin, condemned the killing. Meanwhile, Arlene Foster, leader of the Democratic Union Party, which is in favor of Britain's presence in Northern Ireland, described the death as heartbreaking news. The Good Friday Agreement in 1998 largely brought an end to 3 decades of sectarian bloodshed in Northern Ireland between Republican and Unionist paramilitaries, as well as British armed forces, in a period known as the Troubles. Some 3,500 people were killed in the conflict, many at the hands of the Irish Republican Army, or IRA. Police have blamed a group called the New IRA for the flare-up in violence in recent months, and some have expressed fears that recent attacks could be a sign that paramilitaries are seeking to exploit the current political turbulence over Northern Ireland and its border with the Republic of Ireland caused by Brexit. Help is needed urgently from the international community to help 2,500 apparently stateless foreign children at a camp in northeast Syria, a top UN official said. Enos Nopsis, regional humanitarian coordinator for the Syria crisis, made a special plea in Geneva. He said that the children are among 75,000 people are now sheltering in Al-Hol camp after fleeing ISIL extremists.
Today I'm making a special plea for the children. There was a figure that UNICEF had used of about 2,500 of these foreign children, so it's really a sizable number. These children do have a father and a mother, and their father and a mother has a nationality, and therefore a solution has to be found, and particularly with this, for these children. This is an extreme, extraordinary situation. I don't think we've ever seen such a large number in a complex protection situation, and clearly this requires many actors to work together to be able to find a way forward. The Al-Hol camp population today stands at a total of about 75,000 people, and the breakdown is as follows. About 43% are Syrian nationals, 42% are Iraqi nationals, and 15% are foreign nationals. And again, out of the total population, 90% are women and children, and 66% are children.
Elsewhere in Syria, meanwhile, where the UN and partners help 5.5 million people every month, there is ongoing and serious concern for civilians in Idlib. The region is home to some 3 million people who rely on cross-border humanitarian supplies arriving from Turkey. Half of these people have been displaced during the Syrian conflict, which has claimed hundreds of thousands of lives and destroyed much of the country's infrastructure since it began in 2011. Since August of 2018, Idlib has been largely protected from the worst fighting by a ceasefire agreement implemented by Russia and Turkey, although clashes are ongoing.
The continuation of the ceasefire that was put in place since last summer is really crucial in order to make sure that we don't see a catastrophe, as we have all been worried, given the large number and the overpopulation and also the mixture of who is there.
A father rescued his son from a dingo's jaws after the infant was dragged from a camper van at an Australian tourist island, according to authorities, in the third such attack this year. Paramedics said the family was on a remote part of Fraser Island off the Queensland coast late Thursday when the parents heard their child crying.
Dingoes made their way into the camper trailer and grabbed the boy and dragged him away from the camper. And the parents woke up to the baby screaming and chased after him and had to fight the dingoes off to take the 14-month-old boy away from the dingoes.
The boy, reportedly 14 months old, was treated for 2 deep cuts to the top of his neck near the back of his head and for minor cuts to his scalp, according to him. He was taken by helicopter to a nearby hospital for further treatment. The attack is the 3rd this year on World Heritage-listed Fraser Island, the world's largest sand island and a popular tourist destination. 2 dingoes were put down in March after a French mother and son were mauled on the island. In January, a 6-year-old boy was mauled by the native animal after he ran up a dune on the island. Authorities have warned visitors in the past that dingoes are wild animals and need to be treated with caution. Native to Australia, dingoes came under the spotlight with the disappearance of a baby Azaria Chamberlain at Uluru, or Ayers Rock, in 1980, for which her mother Lindy was convicted of murder and her father Michael of being an accessory. The convictions were overturned in 1988 after the chance find of a piece of Azaria's clothing near a dingo lair. A court ruling in 2012 found that a dingo snatched their baby from a tent. In other news, 3 world-renowned professional mountaineers, 2 Austrians and an American, were missing and presumed dead after an avalanche on a Western Canadian summit, according to the country's National Parks Agency. American Jess Roskelley, 36, and Austrians Jans Jorg Auer, 35, and David Lama, 28, went missing Tuesday evening in Banff National Park, according to media reports. Authorities launched an aerial search the next day. The 3 men were attempting to climb the east face of House Pass, an isolated and highly difficult route, according to Parks Canada. They were part of a team of experienced athletes sponsored by American outdoor equipment firm The North Face, according to the company. Rescuers found signs of several avalanches and debris consistent with climbing equipment, Parks Canada said, leading them to presume that the climbers were dead. Poor weather conditions have increased avalanche risks in the mountainous area on the border between Alberta and British Columbia, where the search halted for safety reasons. Mali's prime minister resigned along with his entire government on Thursday following criticism over their handling of an upsurge of violence in the center of the country and a massacre last month that left 160 people dead. A statement from President Ibrahim Boubacar Keita's office said he had accepted Soumeylu Boubeye Maiga's resignation, along with those of his ministers, 2 weeks after mass protests erupted over the rising tide of violence. The government had come under mounting pressure over its handling of violence in the restive Mopti region, and especially a massacre on March 23 in which 160 people were killed in the village of Ogosagu near the border with Burkina Faso. Members of the Dogon ethnic group, a hunting and farming community with a long history of tension with the nomadic Fulani people over access to land, were accused of being behind the mass killing. Tens of thousands of people took to the streets of Bamako on April 5 to protest against the upsurge of violence, accusing the government of not doing enough to stop it. The protest was called by Muslim religious leaders, organizations representing the Fulani herding community, opposition parties, and civil society groups. Mali has been struggling to restore stability since Islamist extremists linked to Al-Qaeda took control of the country's vast desert north in early of 2012. Indonesia's presidential challenger slammed pollsters as untrustworthy and said they should move to Antarctica so they could lie to the penguins, as he refused to concede defeat in this week's election. Firebrand ex-General Prabowo Subianto has rejected a dozen so-called quick counts that say Indonesian President Joko Widodo was re-elected Wednesday by a comfortable margin. Take a look.
ingin menggambarkan bahwa kita mungkin punya niat-niat yang aneh-aneh. Tidak ada yang aneh-aneh. Kita ingin menegakkan keadilan dan kebenaran. Warga negara yang selalu mengutamakan perdamaian dan kedamaian. Jangan kita diprovokasi.
Subianto portrayed himself as a man of the people during the heated presidential campaign, despite his immense wealth and ties to Indonesia's corrupt Suharto dictatorship, which collapsed in 1998. Subianto has alleged voter fraud and warned he would challenge the results in court. He did the same unsuccessfully after losing to Widodo in 2012, and there's little to suggest Subianto will win this latest fight. Heavy rains and flooding in the Islamic Republic of Iran have left more than 2 million people in need of immediate humanitarian assistance, including refugees. The UNHCR said a plane load of essential and aid items from the agency landed last week in Tehran, while supplies from existing stocks inside Iran were handed over to authorities who are battling previous unseen levels of flooding in parts of the country. UNHCR's assistance includes family tents, sleeping mats, blankets, and kitchen equipment, highlighting the fact that Iran has hosted millions of refugees for 40 years. UNHCR's Director for Asia and the Pacific, Idrika Ratwari, called on the international community to support the country as it faces one of the worst natural disasters in decades. According to government estimates, some 78 people have lost their lives, over 1,000 are reported injured, and about 500,000 people have been displaced since mid-March. Eagle News International will be right back. Stay tuned. China said leaders from 37 nations and North Korean representatives will attend a summit for its Belt and Road Initiative next week as it hit back at criticism of the massive trade infrastructure project. Chinese President Xi Jinping's pet project is a $1 trillion program that includes maritime, rail, and road projects in Asia, Africa, and Europe. The Belt and Road Initiative has divided Europe, and Washington has called it a vanity project. But a growing number of nations are signing up despite warnings about debt and opaque deals that favor Chinese firms. Italy became the first G7 member to join the scheme this month and will be among the 37 nations represented at the leader level at the April 25 to the 27 summit in Beijing, according to Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi at a press briefing. Most other nations on the list have traditionally warm ties with Beijing, including most of Southeast Asia and Eastern European countries that were former members of the Soviet bloc. The U.S. has said it will not be sending a high-level delegation. Wang said that China's neighbor North Korea will be sending a delegation.
美国什么时候参加、参不参加，这是由美方来决定的事情。但是我要告诉大家的是，第一届论坛上，美国还是派了政府代表来参加了。他参加了，我们都欢迎，来者都是客。本届论坛呢，据我们目前了解，美国的外交官、美国的一些地方州的领导人，当然还有美国企业家代表，也都确认将会参加这次的论坛。一共有150多个国家会参加这个论坛，其中也包括中国的邻国朝鲜方面也会派代表参加。我觉得这很正常，因为这是一个经济合作的倡议。各国有参加的自由，但是呢，我觉得没有阻止别的国家参加的权利。
Now, he didn't say whether leader Kim Jong-un, who will meet President Vladimir Putin in Russia this month, would participate. There has been growing concern over China's Belt and Road ambitions, with many Western leaders calling the projects debt traps. While some see the project as a geopolitical power play, Beijing has insisted that the Belt and Road is open to everybody. Stress, excessively long working hours, and disease contribute to the deaths of nearly 2.8 million workers every year, while an additional 374 million people get injured or fall ill because of their jobs, according to the UN Labor Agency, ILO. In a new report underlining ILO's message that no paid work should impact your well-being, safety, or your life expectancy, the agency has identified several new or existing occupational risks that affect women more than men. And these include so-called flexible working hours, world population growth, increased connectivity, and climate change. These factors and others contribute to losses of almost 4% of the global economy, according to the ILO.
2.78 million people annually die because of their jobs, and more than 374 million people are living with different injuries and illnesses due to their job. And most of the deaths are actually due to diseases that are attributable to work. So the world of work is changing. We have increased technology, different digitalization, artificial intelligence, robots are coming into the workforce more than ever, automation. This has good effects on the workers, that they've been removed from dirty jobs, but also it causes new risks that we did not encounter before. We work from platform economies, also the link between technology and flexible work hours that seem to be great for workers, but at the same time this continued connectivity, excessive working hours, sedentary work are very much linked to the increase in circulatory disease, respiratory diseases, and other musculoskeletal diseases and psychosocial risks. Green jobs that have been introduced that bring with them great opportunities, but risks in terms of new exposures to chemicals and recycling and metal waste, and in wind turbines that use specific chemicals that are new and risky to workers. It's just something we need to keep in mind, that although we're moving in a great place, technology is helping in many ways, but also it's a fine line between new risks that are coming out, but also balancing where life is and where work is, and how safety and health needs to take that into consideration.
Women are more at risk from occupational hazards than men, Ms. Azzi explained, because they tend to be the primary carer for children or parents and lack the time to exercise, leading to higher risks from cardiovascular disease. In other news, Eagle Broadcasting Corporation has signed its first partnership deal with OSN, the Middle East and North Africa region's leading entertainment network. Our EBC correspondent from the Middle East, Leah May Manalo Laksina, reports from our United Arab Emirates Bureau.
They say great things comes to those who wait. Today is indeed a great day for us to celebrate as we witness the contract signing on the partnership between Eagle Broadcasting Corporation and OSN. OSN, is popularly known in the region, is a direct broadcast satellite provider serving the Middle East and North African countries. OSN provides a cutting-edge viewing experience that gives viewers complete control over their TV. OSN offers the biggest blockbuster movies, the latest TV shows, exclusive kids and Arabic channels, factual TV, a wide range of live sports, all available to their customers anytime, anywhere. With over 180 channels, more than 60 of which are in stunning HD, OSN now brings to the Middle East and North African televiewers our very own Net25. With this partnership, Net25 will now be able to reach Filipinos in the MENA region, in addition to its strong presence in North America, Europe, and other Asian countries. We truly live in interesting times. Present during the contract signing are OSN top executives, Chief Executive Officer Mr. Patrick Tiliu, Chief Commercial Officer Mr. Steve McDiarmid, and Chief Content Officer Mr. Imad Murkos. Witness to this event is our very own EBC Middle East Coordinator, Victor Branda Cruz, and yours truly.
Kamusta Net25 and welcome to OSN. The launch of Net25 ushers in a brand new level of customer service for us here at OSN, and we're very excited about it. Aside from providing your favourite programmes on Net25, we aim to provide the INC community here in the Middle East and North Africa the best customer journey, from the right sales channels to an engaged after-sales experience tailor-fitted for the community. From our community frontliners to our customer service agents in Saudi Arabia to Dubai, all of us are looking forward to welcoming you soon here at OSN. Maraming Salamat po.
Mabuhay! It is with great joy and pleasure to welcome Net25 to the OSN family. The launch of our partnership with Eagle Broadcasting Corporation is not just a happy occasion, but a fitting, culminating event of EBC's 50th anniversary celebration. Together, we will deliver to you, the INC community here in the Middle East and North Africa, inspiring and uplifting programs of Net25, straight to your homes through OSN, the best entertainment platform in the region. This partnership is something that we are truly excited about here at OSN, and we look forward to working with Eagle Broadcasting Corporation in the service of the INC community here in the MENA region. Maraming salamat po.
Hello, we are delighted to welcome you and all to the OSN family with the launch of Net25. We're even more excited to bring you to our home here in the Middle East and North Africa. The complete Filipino entertainment experience that only OSN can deliver. From a highly anticipated programs on Net25, combined with the widest selection of the latest and exclusive Filipino and English series, blockbuster movies, live news, and sports. which you can watch at home, on TV, or anywhere on your mobile devices. Together with Net25, you are truly at home with OSN.
With over 500,000 Filipino residents in the UAE alone, Net25 will now be part of their favorite pastime and in getting up-to-date news and trends in the Philippines via Agila Balita and worldwide events, Eagle News International. Reporting here from the OSN corporate headquarters in Dubai Media City, I am Leia May Manalo-Aksina, and I am one with 25.
Eagle News International will be right back. Stay tuned. The Toronto Raptors got back on track with a dominant performance against the Orlando Magic. Jerita Dimaculangan reports.
It's Game 2 of the first round of the Eastern Conference Finals where the Toronto Raptors play the Orlando Magic here at the Scotiabank Arena.
With the Magic taking a surprising 1-0 series lead, many marked Game 2 as a must-win for the Raptors. The squad delivered with the help of their two All-Stars, Kawhi Leonard and Kyle Lowry, dominating the Magic 111-82. Lowry was able to assist his team, putting up 22 points and shot 61% from the field. Alongside Lowry, Leonard contributed to 37 points in his 33 minutes of play. In addition to their dominating efforts offensively, the Raptors were able to hold it down on the other end of the court.
It wasn't flip the switch, it was more just being locked in on every coverage, everything we wanted to do, just being on the same page and communication.
It was that team cohesion that allowed the Raptors to neutralize DJ Augustine to just 9 points compared to his 25-point performance in Game 1.
With tonight's win over the Magic, Toronto fans can now breathe a sigh of relief knowing that their team has even the series as they head down to the Amway Center in Orlando, Florida. From the Scotiabank Arena, I'm Zarita Demaklongan, and I'm 1 with 25.
Kevin Durant scored 38 points as the Golden State Warriors made sure they didn't blow another big lead by routing the Los Angeles Clippers 132-105 in Game 3 of their playoff series on Thursday. The Warriors ensured there was no repeat of Game 2, where they squandered a 31-point lead in the second half, allowing the Clippers to engineer the biggest comeback in NBA playoff history. Golden State compiled another huge lead at almost the identical part of Thursday's game by taking an 88-57 lead with 7 minutes and 10 seconds left in the third quarter. Durant made sure the outcome was different this time. He finished 14 for 23 from the floor and was just 5 points shy of his playoff career high despite playing only 29 minutes. After taking just 24 shots and totaling 44 points in the first 2 games of the series, Durant came out blazing in Game 3, hitting his first 6 shots. Now down 2-1, the Clippers also will host Game 4 in the best-of-7 set on Sunday. Stephen Curry, who battled foul trouble most of the night, supported Durant with 21 points for the Warriors. Lou Williams, who led the greatest comeback in playoff history with 36 points in Game 2, was held to just 16 points. In other sports news, Premier League stars led footballers in England and Wales in a 24-hour social media boycott on Friday in a bid to combat racist abuse online. Watford striker Troy Deeney, who blocked replies to his Instagram account earlier this month after receiving abuse, summed up the anger he and fellow footballers feel, saying, "Enough is enough." The campaign, which is being coordinated by England's Professional Footballers Association, urges players to stay off all social media from 9 a.m. Friday. The universal message across the footballers' Twitter accounts used the hashtag enough with the message "Make a stand against racism," a campaign by the PFA. The PFA said the boycott was the first step in a longer campaign to tackle racism in football. The boycott is not just aimed at those who use the platforms to air their racist views, but also at the social media companies themselves and football authorities. There have been growing concerns over how football should tackle racism following a number of incidents of abuse, both at grounds and on social media. England's black players faced repeated racist chants during their Euro 2020 qualifier in Montenegro last month. One of those targeted, fullback Danny Rose, said afterwards he could not wait to turn his back on football. Some, like Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp, whose star player Mohamed Salah was the target of Islamophobic abuse by Chelsea fans last week, has said he would have no hesitation in taking his players off the pitch. Meanwhile, Team USA crushed Belgium in international friendlies match. EBC correspondents Alan and Eva Basalyahe reports.
Countdown to the Cup is the current motto of the U.S. women's national soccer team.
And despite facing a surging Belgium club, the United States took care of business, defeating their opponent 6-0. Fans were in the mood for revelry both during and before the match.
We came to watch the U.S. versus Belgium women's national team soccer game. and there's just a lot of festivities going on before the game. Just a lot of people excited to come see Team USA. There's a lot of excitement. Everyone's dressed up. Everyone's wearing the U.S. soccer gear. And yeah, a lot of things going on, so it's pretty exciting here.
I think it's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of kids here, a lot of girls. The U.S. women are playing against Belgium. They're getting ready for the World Cup that's coming this summer, so there's a lot of excitement. Make sure the women play well, make sure they do good heading into the World Cup.
Luckily, it's a national team. They come out here every once in a while, so you have to take the opportunity to go watch them play. Hopefully this year, today, we'll have a victory. Go USA!
For the 20,941 fans in attendance, the women's national team didn't disappoint, pouring in 4 goals in just the first half alone. Carly Lloyd scored back-to-back in minutes 14 and 19, followed by Lindsey Horan in minute 26, and Samantha Mewis in minute 33. The U.S. would continue the goal parade in the second half, with Alex Morgan and Jessica McDonald contributing in minutes 52 and 90 respectively. With the exception of Alex Morgan, all of the U.S. goals were headers.
They say the best defense is a good offense. Your club was on full offense tonight. Talk about the aggressive frame of mind for your club.
Yeah, so we're coming together as a team really well. Obviously, we're getting used to each other's strengths, and it's obviously all coming together to show the last 2 games. So we just want to show some exciting offense, some exciting football for everybody.
So our set pieces were on point today, and I think we scored maybe 5 headers, which was incredible. But it says a lot about our game that we can attack in different ways, and then getting Alex a goal right when she comes in was incredible. So, you know, a different variety of goals today, and I think that's exciting for this team.
20,000 fans, what was it like feeling and feeding off of their electricity and energy?
Yeah, I mean, this venue was amazing. Anytime you play in LA, it's really, really cool, but this one was, you definitely could feel the energy out there.
Are you looking forward to just a few more wins before entering World Cup play?
Yes, I'm definitely looking forward to a few good performances and a few good wins. Really good to build our confidence going into the World Cup, but we also want those hard tests.
Coach Alan Bastiani, Eagle News. At one point, it didn't look like Belgium wanted to engage anymore. Do you credit that to the aggressive play of your club?
Yeah, I mean, I can't really speak for them. I think, at times we were, I thought we pressed really well tonight. That was kind of part of our plan, and why we actually, were able to bring in other legs in terms of, to continue to press. It was something we wanted to work on. I think that makes it hard. I think Belgium is actually a very good passing team with very good players. But I think, sometimes when you generate that much pressure, it disrupts your rhythm, and that's exactly what you press.
The U.S. looks poised once again to enter World Cup play as a serious contender.
And with only a handful of games left before June, the United States is eager to get in a few last wins before heading off to France and quite possibly another World Championship.
Reporting from the Bank of California Stadium in Los Angeles, California, this is Eva and Allen for Eagle News, and we are 1 with 25.
Thank you, guys, and that's it for tonight's broadcast. For everyone here on Eagle News International, I'm Alma Angeles, always 1 with 25. Good night.